What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. It's time for another Seattle Mariners check-in. Been 10 games since we did this last, and it doesn't feel like anything's changed all that much. The team is still hanging around. The team has had the same record over the last 10 games as they did over the first 10 games, 4-6. And it's a little bit frustrating right now, I think, and we are now getting deeper into the season. It is time to start taking things a little bit more seriously, although I do want to stress that at the end of the day, we are still early and there's still a ton of time for things to flip. You look around baseball right now, you look around Major League Baseball, you'll find all kinds of results that don't make any sense and that are not going to hold. Like the Mets are in last place right now. I don't think that's going to hold. There's plenty of funky stuff happening just within our division. So there's time, but hopefully some of these things turn around a little bit for the Mariners. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. More on them later. But yeah, the 2026 Seattle Mariners are off to an 8-12 start, and at the moment, things don't feel great. Basically, we got swept by the Rangers, we swept the Astros, and hey, that was great. That does a lot of heavy lifting, and then you get swept by the Padres, and now it almost kind of feels like your season is you're I don't want to go this far, but it does kind of feel like your season's entering a big crossroads over the next few days with the Rangers series. You really need to do some damage there. The Rangers are playing a pretty decent baseball. They're going to be a problem this year, maybe the biggest problem in the division. And you need to you need to do something because they've already swept you once. So we're already in kind of a delicate place here with these Mariners, and some of the things that I said 10 games ago still apply, and some of what I said doesn't. So, yeah, 2026 Mariners, look, the upshot is, again, we are not getting good play at the plate from Julio, Cal, and especially Josh Naylor. Those guys have all been bad with a bat in their hands. And that's kind of the silver lining. That's not going to hold. Those guys are too good to continue to be net negative players, right? Like Julio might be a slight net positive because of his fielding, but even that hasn't been as good as it was in previous years. And Cal, not really hitting with much power, not really doing much of anything effectively. And Naylor, I don't even really need to say it. You guys know what's going on there if you've been paying attention. So those three guys are going to get going at some point. I have no doubt about that. And the team will be a lot better for it. But there is that other side to this. We are talking about a team that so far has been riding the monster offensive output from guys like Brendan Donovan. And maybe Brendan Donovan is sustainable because he is a really good player and he is playing really well. So Brendan Donovan, I'm not doubting his ability to maintain a really high average and be a really effective player. A Rosarina contract year, maybe he'll continue to hit like this. Okay. But there's no way Luke Raley is going to be hitting like this all season. The guy has been a monster so far. Luke Raley is not going to be a 190 ops plus player for the whole season, right? That's not sustainable. And even a guy like Canzone, who hasn't been great or anything, but he's been at the very least a net positive player. Is that sustainable? I don't know. It feels like he's a guy that will probably get lost at some point and just really, really flounder because that's been the pattern with him. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. So there's that other side to this whole thing, right? Like Cole Young has already kind of come back to earth, which is not surprising. And I don't really have a problem with that. He's a second baseman and he's still playing pretty well overall. I still have no complaints. But at the very least, we can say that he's not carrying us anymore because, like I said, that was never sustainable. And I mean, overall, there's more to be optimistic about than pessimistic about right now to me. But these holes are not going away. J.P. Crawford is just not a very good baseball player anymore, and I don't think he'll ever get back to being a good baseball player anymore. Rivas, Garver, those guys are fine for what they are, but they're not much. And the concerns about the infield defense remain. Cole Young's fine, Naylor's fine, although he's made a couple mistakes this year. But that left side of the infield is kind of a train wreck right now, and the only way to fix it is to call up Emerson, and that may come with its own problems. There's no guarantee that's going to work, and if it does work, it may not work immediately. So it's one of those things where you really have to accept that it's going to be a little bit painful for a while if you're actually going to play that game. So I don't know if that's the solution either. So I do think the offense will pick it up. We have too much talent to not start pushing more runs across. But this defense remains an issue, and we have had some guys play way over their heads so far. We have to anticipate they're going to level off, especially Rayleigh. And the pitching, I kind of feel the same way that I did earlier. We've got a good rotation, man. These guys are good pitchers. They're pitching pretty well. Even Gilbert's starting to get back on his horse here. Kirby had a great start the other day. Hancock has been a revelation so far. Thank the Lord for him. He's been amazing. Love what Emerson Hancock is doing for this team so far. Really, really tragic we couldn't get him that win the other day when he did everything you could have done against a really good Padres lineup. Now, Castillo is a problem, but what I would say is that he's our kind of our number 5 starter now. When we get Miller back, we're going to have some flexibility. Maybe we can make a tough decision there. And even with all that being said, Castillo at this point being a number 5 starter, that's I don't think all that different from what you would expect from a typical number 5 starter. He's just whatever. He's not great, he's not special, but he can get the job done. So he's not out of line for a number 5 starter in my mind. And again, it's very possible that when Miller comes back, we end up making a tough decision here. Hancock's been so good, maybe we just ride with him. We'll see. But the rotation's good. No concerns there. They've been good so far this year, except for a little bit of Gilbert. And Gilbert's struggles are so, like, siloed. It feels like that's easy to get around. But the bullpen has been even worse than I was scared of. Munoz has been a disaster so far this year, and this bullpen cannot survive that, right? Like Ferrer, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I watch Mariners games with the sound off typically. Not really moving our needle here. He's a ground ball pitcher, and we have a terrible infield for defense. So you've got that. Bizzardo comes in. I mean, Bizzardo's been great so far, but I don't totally trust him. Spire's been good, but not stellar. It's tough. Wilcox has been well below average so far, especially for a bullpen pitcher. This bullpen cannot survive Munoz being this bad. And he has been kind of a train wreck so far, and he's got to get it together. There's no way this team is going to do what we need them to do if Munoz can't get it on. We're barely good enough with him being good. right? Brash has been awesome. Brash has been basically untouchable so far. But like I said, Bizzardo's been great so far. I'm not dogging on him, but I don't totally trust him, but he's been good. Byer's good. Criswell has done his job so far, but this is kind of this is kind of the stuff that I was talking about with this pen. It feels like we don't have enough that I feel great about, and there are going to be better teams. There are going to be better offenses we play where we need the bullpen to shut the door, and we cannot. Granted, Munoz has been a little bit unlucky too. I think this team in general has been a little unlucky, but I still look at this and I still think to myself, I don't think this is the bullpen of a great team. And that's really about all I can say. I know people are freaking out about the Dan Wilson thing because a couple of decisions he's made over the last few days, but look, Dan Wilson's not a great manager. He's not a great X's and O's manager. He's not a great in-game manager. I think we know that. Um, his value is more abstract, and I'm not dismissing that entirely, but at the same time, like I just need my players to actually execute a little bit. Like people were getting on him for that game we blew against the Padres, but Munoz needs to get a couple of outs, right? Like yeah, he probably should have put Brash in instead of Ferrer. If we put in Brash, maybe we win that game and everybody's a little more chill right now. But at the same time, Munoz needs to be Munoz. He's been on this team for years. He's been a great player for us for a long time. Players got to play too. All right, I'm going to get out of here. See you guys later. Go Mariners. More videos coming later. We'll talk about the Mariners in 10 games, but not a great start. And you can see the holes in this team.